Okay, so now I will do some practice questions on what we learned in the what you learned in the basics geometry got it video. Okay, so here's question 1. What do we call the point of intersection of two rays? And I'm not going to make it multiple choice because multiple choice you really don't learn a whole lot. I'm going to let you think of it. So what you first want to do is you want to draw what two rays look like. Okay. Right, and then so what is this called? And so you can pause the video right here and think it through, or we'll reveal the answer and just give it to you. Okay, so the point of intersection, this is called a vertex. Okay, this is just definition. This is something you need to know. Now remember, don't confuse the rays with the intersecting of two lines. Because remember, the ray would be here, and this is your this is your vertex. Okay, and remember, this is an angle. Okay. All right, let's do the next question. Clear. What do we call this? So, to be more clear, what is a dot called in geometric terms? So again, think it through. You can pause the video, and I'll give you the answer shortly. And if you said point, you are correct. Because in geometry, we always start with the smallest thing, the one-dimensional thing, which is a point. We'll get 2 dimensions when we connect a point, 3 dimensions when we start going 3D, adding the z-axis. So if you said point, kudos to you. Oh, my thing to work. Okay, let's clear this out. Okay, so I've talked about endpoints. So how many endpoints do the following have? Let's start with a line. I'll draw the figure. Start with a ray. And then let's do a line segment. So how many endpoints do each of these have? So pause, think it through. Otherwise, I will continue forward. So let's start with the ray. So this has 1. Remember, we're only taking a portion of this line. So the ray starts with as 1 endpoint. Now, if we do not want to continue this line, we have a segment, a line segment, This has two endpoints, which means how many endpoints does a line have? So a line goes on forever. So if it goes on forever, that means there's no end to it, right? Something that goes on forever never ends. So it's zero endpoints. That might have been a little tricky for you. Okay, let's clear this out. The next question I have is, what is this called? And it extends in every direction possible, right? And it's two dimensions. And if it helps, remember the drawing I did in the last lecture where you can view it from any angle, right? But these are still going on forever and ever. I mean, you kind of get the point. So what is this figure called? If you said plane, you are correct. A plane is a two-dimensional, piece. You consider it like a piece of paper, a little drawing tool, paper, that goes on forever, and is the basis for geometry. Now let's get into something a bit real world, which will probably throw your mind for a spin. Right? So I want you to think. Remember when we were, talking about this, right? Well, what real world figure can look like that? So basically what I'm asking is, I'm going to draw a figure, and what does it look like it's representing? What geometric concept is it representing? So let me actually start from scratch. So what real world object can best be described by a geometric term? Okay, so I'll draw it for you as best as I can. So I'm trying to draw a little alleyway, but the whole point is, and let's draw some hands. Okay, so you got an idea of what this is. This is a flashlight. And when the flashlight is shining its light, it's kind of looking like something we've discussed. So what is it looking like that we have discussed? Right? With an end point from its base and no end in sight for the amount of light it shines. What is it representing? Right? And if I draw an arrow, this will probably give it away. But this is a ray. So you see how you can apply this to like the real world? I know it's a simple basic example of a flashlight, but hopefully that makes some sense. So you said ray, you're correct. So what do we need to create an angle? Whoops, angle. Right? So think about what an angle represents. If you said two rays, that is the answer. Because remember, these angles you're just trying to measure. You're not trying to stop at like a segment, right? You're just you the end point is where you're starting at, and then it's just going on forever. Okay, so what is a parallel line? These are definitions you have to know. So think about the example I drew with start the engine here. Okay, and then this thing is going to back up here. Let me clear that out. Alright, let's fix that. There we go. It's going to back up here. So you're parallel parking, you're between the lines, and these lines can never, ever, ever meet. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where the space is 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, any it doesn't matter what dimension you're in. They can never ever meet. And then the next question I have for you is, do segments line extend forever? Think about it. So this right here is a line. I had to break it up somehow. And this right here is a line segment. So which one goes on forever? Well, it's the line, right? The segment is just a piece segment, right? You're segmenting off, you're piecing it off. So do line segments extend forever? No, they do not. Okay, so let's edit. Let's clear this up. So hopefully these practice problems help you understand the basics. Okay, and if you have any questions, concerns, or having trouble with other topics, feel free to put in the comments below, and try our best to help you understand these different concepts better and in more depth.